Okay, let's get into the second year of study. Now, when I went to varsity, I was told all you need to do is pass your first year, then after that, everything becomes easy. Lies. My God, there's no such, right? The thing is, though, the concepts become more difficult, but because you're more used to varsity, it becomes a little bit easier to survive. Okay? What I mean by this is in first year, the jump between high school and varsity is huge. But in your subsequent years, you're pretty much used to varsity and you're at the level that they would want you to be at. So the concepts do become more difficult, but it's a bit easier to survive. Okay, let's look at some of the courses here. Again, you have your maths, and which is going to be calculus and differential equations. Then your core courses are going to be from computer science. You have data structures and algorithms. This time you're using the Java programming language. You won't be taught Java, but because you know C++, it won't be much of a jump. Then you get into electrical engineering, which is a follow-on from electricity and electronics, right? This is a bit more mathematical, and you're actually going to be applying some of the concepts from differential equations before you're actually taught that in the maths course. So you do need to be a bit of a fast learner over there. Then you have material science, which is actually a first year course, which a lot of people argue is the toughest first year course at Tux, right? But as in computer engineering, you do that in your second year. When we look over into the second semester, we start dealing with some more interesting concepts. You have your first very, very interesting course over there, which is digital systems, right? Now you start dealing with what is binary? How do you deal with these ones and zeros? And how does a computer actually work within that concept, or a computer type systems? Then you start programming a field programmable gate array. So it's pretty much a chip. You're programming and you're doing very, very interesting things. You really start to enjoy yourself when you get to the second year of study. Then you also have another course from electrical engineering department, which is linear systems, but that is more in terms of signals and the mathematical analysis behind that, and you are going to be applying a lot of the courses that you're going to be doing, a lot of the concepts you learn from the maths courses, right? And then during research training, you're doing another Cisco certification, and then you're doing some simulations in the Python scripting language. Now, remember I told you that in the first 2 years you're mainly dealing with analysis. Now when you get to the third year, that's when they're really molding you into an engineer, right? You start getting into the real engineering design. Things start to get a bit more interesting. But this for me was my toughest year in varsity. It is rough. There's very little sleep in third year. Third year, right? Let's get into some of these courses. Okay, never mind engineering management, microprocessors. Yes, microprocessors, very, very interesting course. You start dealing with programming some chips. You're going to be creating a line following robot in that specific course. When you get to analog electronics, you're designing amplifiers, you're working with signals and all sorts of things like that. Intelligent systems, now you're dealing with artificial intelligence and machine learning. Man, you're doing very, very interesting things. It's rough, but it's very, very interesting. And then you also have electromagnetic compatibility, that's looking at interference and electromagnetism and how everything like that works, right? So that is the first semester, which in terms of from concepts, it's a leap, it's a huge leap from second year to third year, because now they're molding you into an engineer. Second semester, computer engineer. Right. The reason it's bad is simply because of time, right? You have two design modules. You have computer engineering design and you have software engineering. In computer engineering design, you have to design and develop an automated fan system from first principles, all the way down to the power supply that you can plug into the socket. You have sensors that you're reading the temperature and all kinds of things like that. That is going to take a lot of time. In software engineering, you have to develop a computer game, right? Complete with graphics and artificial intelligence from the previous year, networking, all kinds of things like that. That is going to be happening concurrently. Sleep is a myth. Right. Conceptually, it's not that bad, but sleep is a myth in the second semester of your third year. All right. Other things that you're going to be looking at is control systems, control theory. What is the mess behind control theory? Which, by the way, is discipline independent. Then you get to digital communication, which is dealing with how do our devices communicate efficiently, because now we're dealing with digital systems. So your phone, the signal that it's sending, we're having some digital analysis on that, which does make things a bit more efficient and gives the designers a bit more room. So again, third year, very, very interesting, but it really does sleep. No, guys, you will sleep when you're dead, but you're going to be doing very interesting things here. And of course, in resource training, you're going to be doing your last Cisco certification. We're in the final year, guys. I've enjoyed going down memory lane, but yeah, let's get to the final year of study, which I'm going to say is not that bad, right? If you've survived third year, it's not that bad. There's only one thing you need to be on the lookout for. It's final year project. Before you graduate as an engineer, you need to prove that you are a competent engineer. So you need to develop a very, very complicated system that is going to show everything that you've learned. Not everything, but most of the things that you've learned from your previous years of study. In the last slide, I'll show you my final year project and take you through that, but that's pretty much the most difficult thing that you're going to be doing in your final year, right? And this is the thing that could have you failing. Everything else, if you put in the work, it's over. Okay, you've got DSP programming and application, computer engineering, architecture and systems, the architecture of a computer, network security. This is pretty much dealing with network security. Again, here, put in the work, those are fine. Final year project, yeah, that is really what you need to be on the lookout for. Another thing you need to do as an engineer is to actually go and work at a company. So you've got a practical training course where you have to intern over the holidays at some company. You will get paid, in most cases quite well. I remember I got paid quite well. So yeah, that is a nice course to do over there.